You're never too young to be an entrepreneur. Quite a few people have reached out to me and said, like, is my youth a detractor? Isn't it an advantage? I actually think that being young is probably the greatest time to start as an entrepreneur, right? When you're 19, 20, 21, 22, like in your early 20s, and you have been used to living off of a lower quality of life, you have less responsibilities. I think it's easier to make the jump at that moment into an entrepreneurial endeavor because you have literally nothing to lose, right? And I think that the people that are most successful as entrepreneurs either have their back up against the wall and they have no choice but success, or they have nothing to lose. And my daughter plays tennis, and last week was her first tennis match. And my comments to her was, look, you're either gonna win or you're gonna learn something. And in this process, you're either gonna win or you're gonna learn something. And it's the same thing for the young entrepreneur. This is either gonna be the thing that gets you there or it's not. But there are a lot of mistakes that young people make that they have to absolutely avoid at all costs. I started in business, I was 22 years old. And what I knew was that I couldn't act like a 22-year-old. In fact, I needed to act like a mature business professional. I needed, when I opened my mouth, for every single thing to come out of my mouth to be absolutely brilliant, right? I had to be better practiced and know my material better. And I needed to be the kid that they dreamed that they always had, as opposed to being the one that was at home pulling bong rips and hanging out on the sofa. And this is the big challenge. Society as a whole today has labeled millennials as just kind of disconnected and out of touch and wanting to save the world and lazy and all these really kind of crappy monikers that are completely inaccurate, right? I think that what we actually see is disenfranchisement with the current model. Right? You see them voting for political insurgents that were not part of the normal system. They're not interested in the birth, school, work, death model. They don't know what they want to do. They just know they don't want a job and all of the kind of baggage that comes with it. And so many of these people are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. And if that's you, right? If you're that 21, 22, 23-year-old, what you got to do is you got to act like you're an actual business owner. You can't continue to act like a 19-year-old. You can't show up late to things. You can't be unprofessional. You can't communicate like a jackass. I had somebody recently who came in and pitched me, and just because you're a millennial doesn't mean you can act like an asshole, right? It doesn't mean you can show up late. It doesn't mean you can be sloppy. In fact, my expectations are even higher for you. And I'll tell you what, if I see in you a glimmer of hope, if I see in you some potential, I want to put my arm around you. I'm going to make sure you succeed because I want my fingerprints to be all over you. And I think that this is something that millennials need to be aware of. And so don't allow your age to be an excuse for the fact that you're not succeeding. I had this guy who has a tree business reach out to me over instant message not too long ago, and he said, I really think I'm struggling getting people to buy into me because I'm going door to door, and they just don't take me seriously. And I believe that was a story he was telling himself to justify low levels of activity, right? What he has to do is go find the people that look at him and say, man, this guy's got gumption. This guy's gonna work harder. Sometimes you bet on the horse and sometimes you bet on the jockey. And I would much rather find a jockey that's extremely hungry, who is looking to be successful, who's never made it into the winner's circle, who's never won the Triple Crown to put on the back of my horse, than I am looking for the guy who's won a bunch of races and maybe has got comfortable and complacent in that victory, in that success, in that achievement. And you just got to find the right people to work with. But when you do, when you find those people, what's going to happen is they're going to lend you the credibility you need to perpetuate your business, and your success will become better and better and better over time. But this also doesn't let the other person off the hook. This doesn't let the person who's 50 or 55 or 60 or 65 off the hook from being an entrepreneur in today's environment ever. There's never been a better time to do it because of the resources that you have out there. And so don't let your age be an excuse. Just go for it.